Hello friends, in this video I'm going to talk about the Multi-Speciality Recruitment Assessment, or the MSRA. So welcome, and if you're watching this video you must be thinking about starting your preparation for the MSRA, or maybe you're already preparing for it and you stumbled across my video on YouTube. I hope this helps. This video is designed to give you an overview of what the exam is and what it entails. So what is the MSRA? The MSRA is a computer-based assessment. It lets us assess whether you have the competencies needed for your chosen specialty, and is based around clinical scenarios. This is what the MSRA is defined as on the Health Education England website. I will link the website in the comments, in the description box below the video, so that you can have a read of everything to do with the MSRA from the website. So as the title says, it is a multi-speciality recruitment assessment, and multiple specialties are using it now. Initially, the exam was for entry into general practice, but as you can see, a lot of specialties have adopted the MSRA as a part of their recruitment cycle. So anesthetics at CT1 level, ACCS emergency medicine at CT1, ST1 level, broad-based training in Scotland at ST1 level, clinical radiology at ST1 level, community sexual and reproductive health at ST1 level, core psychiatry training at CT1, core surgical training at CT1, general practice ST1, nuclear medicine ST3, neurosurgery ST1, ST2, ST3, obstetrics and gynecology ST1, and ophthalmology ST1. This list is correct as of the 4th of December 2023. Now, this might change. Certain specialties might decide not to use the MSRA, or even more specialties might decide they want to use the MSRA at different levels of their application process. So what's the timeline like? So your recruitment window opens for round one. This is normally around November time, and then you do your application. When the window has closed, all your information will be checked, and if all that is clear, you will get an invitation via Oriel, which is where all the applications take place, to apply for the MSRA. And then you actually book the exam from a different website. The MSRA is delivered by Pearson VUE, and you go to a Pearson VUE center to take the exam. There is an option under special circumstances to take the exam at a location of your choosing. I don't have much information about this because I didn't do it, and I don't know anyone who's done it, but there is information on the website on how you can do it, so you can find that out. Some specialities use the MSRA as their main recruitment indicator. Some specialties will do the MSRA, and then depending on whether they score the minimum score for that specialty and they are deemed eligible for interview, will be invited to interview. So for example, specialties like core psychiatry training or general practice, there's no interview after the MSRA. Your job will be based on your score and your rank. So you get an overall score for your paper on the day that you took it, and you will get ranked for that specialty. So if you applied for psychiatry and general practice and obs and gynae and ACCS at the same time, your rank will be different, but your score will be the same, because you're ranked within the specialty, but your score is constant. The beauty of the MSRA is that you can apply to multiple specialties, and you take this one exam, and it gives you more options. So if you're undecided, especially if you're going from F2 to a specialty, November is still quite early on to decide, and you might do a specialty in your last rotation in foundation that you find is way more interesting and what you want to be doing for the rest of your life. This gives you more options of what to apply for. You might be applying as an international medical graduate, or you might be applying from one specialty and you've now decided to change specialty. So there's many people that will be taking the MSRA at different levels of training, but the exam is directed towards a foundation year 2 level doctor. So there's 2 opportunities to take the exam. There's round 1 and round 3. The round 1 exam happens between the 4th and 16th of January, and the recruitment window for round 1 for 2024 has closed. The round 3 exam will be from the 6th to the 13th of September, and the recruitment window for that has not yet opened. So you're thinking about taking the exam for 2025, or you are already preparing for the MSRA and you're taking the exam in January, or you're thinking about taking the in September. Whichever the case may be, I hope the information I provide in the following slides will help you. The MSRA is split into 2 parts. There's a professional dilemmas paper and a clinical problem solving paper. The professional dilemmas paper is 95 minutes long and has 50 questions. And this is because the question stems are longer and you have to think a bit more and apply your judgment. So you get a bit more time on the professional dilemmas paper, which is similar to the SJTs. If you go to a UK medical school and have to do the foundation SJTs, the professional dilemmas paper is similar to that. So if you're applying from foundation training to specialty training, you will probably find this the easiest out of all of us. Clinical problem solving paper, again, is directed at F2 level, has 75 minutes long and has 86 questions. And again, this is designed to test your knowledge and how you apply it clinically at F2 level. So the SJT is an assessment method which measures how candidates believe they should behave when posed with a challenging professional dilemma. The professional dilemma test is a measure of aptitude for entry to specialty training. It is set within the context of the foundation program, with the candidate assuming the role of an F2 doctor. So if you're already in a specialty and you're already a specialty training registrar, you have to alter your mindset to answer, when you're answering these questions, to I'm being asked these questions as an F2. I'm not being asked these questions as an ST5 or an ST4. So you have to answer the questions according to that level. And if you're an IMG, although you're asked to assume the role of an F2 doctor, the scenarios are written in such a way that you don't have to have specific knowledge of procedures or policies that are only applicable to certain places or localities in the UK, or very UK specific ones, because this would disadvantage in the international medical graduates. So it's it's just given, the scenario is written so to give you context to the scenario, but you don't really have to know the policies and the procedures. When there is a setting specified in a question, that's, like I said, this has been given to provide you context, and it's your judgment that they're trying to assess. So the judgment required to answer the question, it's not specific to that setting. There are 2 types of SJT questions. There's a ranking section, which is part 1, which requires you to rank a series of options in response to a given situation. So you rank them from most appropriate to least appropriate. There's no negative marking in the SJT. Section 2 is a multiple choice section where you select 3 responses, or the 3 most appropriate responses, from a minimum of 8 possible responses for a given situation. And like with the ranking question, there's no negative marking in this section either. So if in doubt, go with your gut instinct and answer the question, because there's a good chance you will get a point. And the SJT, or the professional dilemmas paper, is the hard one to revise for in a traditional manner, because it is assessing your judgment. And like I say, if you're doing the exam as a more senior doctor, you have to remember that this is asking the question at foundation year 2 level. The critical problem solving paper is a test of breadth, I would say. It tests the breadth of your knowledge, not depth. So if you're switching from core surgical training to radiology, for example, and you've taken the MRCS, this is not, there are surgical questions, but it's not going to be at the level of detail that you found in the MRCS. Or if you are applying from CMT to radiology, it's not like the MRCP. But the MRCP will probably help you a lot more than the MRCS, because the amount of surgical questions, at least when I took the exam, were few and far apart. So the scenarios are based on foundation level clinical practice. They test your ability to synthesize and apply your medical knowledge, and it's not just a test of recall. The scenarios are all relevant to the foundation program, and the settings that are given to provide context to the question, but they're not required to answer the question. So half of the clinical problem solving paper questions are extended matching questions, and the other half are single best answer questions, approximately half. And for each item, you get 1 mark. So, for example, if you're doing the extended matching questions and you're not sure of one, go with your gut instinct, answer it anyway, because for each part of that stem, you get a mark, and there's no negative marking. So in terms of the resources that are available for you, I used Past Medicine and MCQ Bank. Past Medicine I used the most, and MCQ Bank I used to close to the exam, and I didn't use it as much. And I don't think I finished either one of the Q banks, because they have lots of questions, lots. Past Medicine I found really user-friendly. It has a great textbook, so you don't have to, dig through your old medical school notes or do a lot of Googling to find the answers to read around the question. It has the textbook function, also works on your phone. There's a Past Medicine app. You can do MCQs on the phone, and it also gives you an overview of your performance in comparison to your peers who are revising for the exam at the same time. MCQ Bank, a lot of people say is more similar to the exam. I don't think I thought in terms of the knowledge that you're trying to acquire, you can get the same knowledge out of Past Medicine and MCQ Bank. Maybe there is a question or two that is identical to the exam, but I didn't get one of those questions, unfortunately. MCQ Bank does give you the option of doing the exam in a mock exam format, which is very similar to how it will be when you take the exam on the day. So the screen looks like what the screen would look like in your Pearson View Center, and that's quite useful if you've not used that kind of MCQ platform before. The other really good resource is the NICE clinical knowledge summaries and the NICE guidelines, because all the most recent treatments, protocols, etc., are in the NICE guidelines, screening programs, that kind of thing. So if you've been in, say you've been a surgical trainee and now you're switching to general practice, or you're an anesthetic trainee and you're switching to psychiatry or radiology, you would have spent a lot of time building up depth in your field, and now you need the breadth, and you might not know what the most recent guidelines are for the screening for diabetes, or what is the next step up from metformin, or what antihypertensive combinations you use for which patient group. So for those kind of things, the NICE guidelines and the NICE clinical knowledge summaries are really, really useful. For the situational judgment test, if you don't have a lot of time, make sure you know the good medical practice, GMC guidelines, and then use your judgment. If you have time, do the questions on MCQ Bank and Past Medicine. I spent more time on the clinical side than on the SJTs, because I've worked in the NHS for a long time, and I thought that I had fairly good clinical judgment. But the key there is you have to answer the question appropriate for that level of that the question is being directed at. So if I was doing the exam again, I would spend a little bit more time reading around the SJTs. And again, when you do the MCQs on Past Medicine and MCQ Bank, and you do the SJTs, you might not agree with the explanations that they give or the rankings that they give, but it gives you the kind of context to read around and to apply your judgment. So thank you very much. I hope you found this useful, and if there is anything specific that I can help you with for the MSRA, please do comment below, and I will endeavor to make another video specifically explaining in more detail about the structure of the MSRA for those of you that are interested. And if you are thinking about taking the exam in the near future, I wish you the very best of luck.